I call the Honourable the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At least at this difficult day and this difficult announcement, let me agree with one thing the Prime Minister has said. Let us be candid and let us not mince words. Today, it is not the government or Labor who's suffered an economic defeat. It's thousands of people who find out that they've lost their jobs.
Hear, hear.
This is not a day, nor I think an appropriate statement, to tell people it'll all end happily, that every car worker can move into biomed. That is not what has happened today. My concern is that the government, in its statement about the car industry, knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. This is a devastating announcement. Madam Speaker, I would hope that you would show—
Those on my right will not interject.
Well, certainly in the last week I haven't dared a company to sack people. Our thoughts are with the thousands of workers affected.
If members wish to hear the Leader of the Opposition, they'll be silent.
There are thousands of workers today who will go home. Their families, their kids, their husbands and wives will say to them, "What does this mean, Mum? What does this mean, Dad? What does this mean for our jobs?" And the parents will have to say to them that we're going to lose our jobs. This is the worst part of this announcement today. And as much as we want to, or some here might wish to yell out and make political points, there's something about a self-fulfilling prophecy there. Our hearts are concerned for the families before Christmas who found this out. And the opposition is most upset for these families because we know that it is not the workers' fault that they've lost their jobs. At least let in this parliament here there be a truce about blaming the workforce for what has happened. Yeah. These are skilled workers. It's not just direct employees at Holden, be it in South Australia. I have no idea why the member for Solomon's shaking her head. We're talking about skilled workers who've lost their jobs, madam. We're talking about people who go home tonight to tell their families that they've lost their jobs. And we're talking about people for whom it is not their fault. And it is not just the direct employees of Holden. There are hundreds of component manufacturing businesses throughout Victoria and South Australia who make products which go into these motor cars. Frankly, the opposition is appalled by today's announcement. We are appalled when people say this is not a political issue, but by the way, we won't provide $500 million in funding.
Hear, hear.
We are appalled when people say this is not a political issue, when it's clear there's been divisions within the government on this question. We are also appalled that we believe that a major company who has been building motor cars in this country since after the Second World War has effectively been goaded to give up on this country. The government says, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I know they're the government, but I would like to see this House.
I think it's important to realise that in this particular environment, when words like goaded are used, you can expect a response. But the Leader of the Opposition has the call, and if we are to hear him, we want silence.
Yet again, and I've been away for 3 days, let me again thank Madam Speaker for her advice. I will not use the word goaded. Encouraged to leave this country. And there have been senior ministers. There have been senior ministers backgrounding against not Holden, backgrounding against thousands of jobs in this country. Anyway, today, some in the government have got what they wanted. There has been a game of high-stakes political poker played, and unfortunately the bluff was called, and the losers are thousands of Australian automotive workers and their families. Holden said very clearly yesterday that a decision had not been made. Something has changed in the past 24 hours.
We'll have some order. We'll have some silence, please. The Leader of the Opposition is speaking on indulgence. We will hear him.
Something changed in the past 24 hours. They were told by the federal government of Australia, who are elected to govern for all, that there would be no more support, no more investment, and I believe that Holden were pushed. But the priority right now, and the truth will come out, the priority right now must be on the workers and their families. The Prime Minister has returned. The Prime Minister must urgently step in to deal with the mess and the chaos and the disappointment which has occurred in his absence. Labor stands ready to support these workers in whatever way that we can. But the opposition does not believe that today's announcement was an ordained conclusion. We do not believe that this announcement today was the only inevitable outcome of recent weeks. We do not accept it was inevitable that this car company would make the decision, after decades of investment in this country, that they would close their businesses by 2017. There were some examples used about other car companies have gone and the steel industry. When those announcements were made, there were still car companies in this country. When the steel industry, Madam Speaker, please.
I have said that if the Leader of the Opposition is to be heard, we need silence.
It did not have to come to this, nor was it inevitable. We understand that structural change happens in the Australian economy. What we don't understand is when the Australian government decides to sabotage its own industry. We believe
the Leader of the Opposition will resume his seat. I call the Honourable the Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker.
We will have silence. We will have silence. We will have silence. I call the Honourable the Prime Minister.
Madam Speaker, I am
if
reluctant to—
the member for Wakefield wishes to leave the chamber again, keep speaking. Remove yourself under 94A. A very slow learner.
Madam Speaker, I am reluctant to do this, but the statement that the Leader of the Opposition has just made about sabotage was offensive and it should be withdrawn.
Indeed, the Leader of the Opposition will withdraw that statement.
Just set it up. You've got what
the
you
Leader
wanted.
will withdraw.
I withdraw. What we have seen is a government who will not back up car workers, small businesses or the automotive manufacturing industry in this country. On the 11th of August 2013, it was said that the coalition, it was said by a coalition spokesperson, the absent Treasurer, it was said that the coalition says that the car industry much prefers our policies. Yeah, well, we've seen that work out, haven't we? All I would say now to the government is work together with the opposition to save our manufacturing sector.
The call is with the Leader of the Opposition.
It has been said that this is a sad, bad day for the car industry. That is true. But when it comes to the car industry, we have a sad, bad government.